Hi there, welcome back. Cool. So in this lecture, we are going to be covering how we can add variables to what is rendered in our templates. So this relates very close to what we were speaking about in the last lecture with regards to regular expressions. Now, something that I just want to point out that I missed is that this dollar sign indicates the end of the string, while the up chevron by itself indicates the start of a string. So as you can see in the example above this for the admin area, this is actually matching a regular expression where admin is the start of the string. So there's nothing in front of the word admin. If we removed this and we typed out something like radmin, it would match this particular regular expression. But because we've got this chevron here, it only starts matching our regular expression from the beginning of our string. Lovely. So this is our regular expression that we've created, and this is really going to match anything on our site because it's going to be any valid URL string, really. So what I want to do is I want to make this a little bit more specific and then just say username here. So now what this will do, actually we need to pass this at the beginning of our string because we always want to put the beginning of our string regular expression indicator at the beginning of our string. So we are now calling a regular expression that contains the static string of username forward slash and then anything that is matched. So this is really what we spoke about in the last lecture, followed by another forward slash and then the end of our regular expression. So the example an example that would match that would be something like username rich forward slash. This would match our regular expression. Something like ss username forward slash rich would not match our regular expression because this ss would not match it because it is not the start of our string, and it is not followed by a forward slash because the forward slash is required in our regular expression. And if we added anything after this, it wouldn't match our regular expression either because this dollar sign is saying end the pattern match uh, at the end of the forward slash. Awesome. So now, what is the reason for this? Well, now we can pass in username forward slash anything, and it should be able to render our blog views. So if we refresh this page, again, it's going to give us nothing, and it's actually showing us our regular expression that we can match as a pattern to render a root. So I'm going to say forward slash username forward slash rich, and then make sure we have our final forward slash, and home got an unexpected keyword argument username. Well, this is exactly the kind of error that we want. So basically what's happening is username is now getting passed into our view or our home function within our view. This is really cool, which means that we can actually use our username, so in this case rich, to render something in our view. So if we are creating a user login system, we can say hi username and it would echo out the word rich. Now Django has a very specific templating language that we are going to speak about later on in this lecture, but I just want to sort out everything in our URLs file before we move on to that. So in our URL function, we can pass a third parameter into this function, and that parameter will have a name. So we say name is equal to, and then we need to pass something in here. So I want to pass the username that we've just received in our regular expression, and the username is the group of all of our characters between the username forward slash and the final forward slash. So everything in between these two will now get passed into our view. So that's great. Now what we can do in our in our views.py file is we can create provision to receive that username, and let's call that username, and now we have access to our username variable within this particular function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a what is essentially an array called context that we can pass into our view. And the reason that I am creating this array is because we may well want to pass more than just the username into this at a later stage. So then what we can do is we can pass our context variable as a third parameter into our render function, and anything that is within our context array will now be rendered to the home.html. So we can use that using Django's special templating language. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to set a variable which I can call whatever I want. It actually needs to be a string. So I'm going to say current user, and then I'm going to give current user. So this is the key here, or the index here, and the value of that is going to be our username, which is passed in through our URL parameter. So now we should have access to our current user key and our template, and that will have the value of our username, which has just been passed into our template. So this is all working great, except we are not actually using our username at all within our home.html template. So what you can see is now we have the username regular expression being matched. If we add anything after this, you'll see that it doesn't work because it's no longer matching our regular expression. So now let's add our let's make use of Django's powerful templating engine and add our username to the template. So I'm going to copy this username, and now what is really cool about this is we can use two curly braces like that, which is Django's special templating language indicator to say we want you to now jump out of the HTML and we want you to jump into Django's templating language. It is almost the same as within WordPress when you put PHP tags inside of an HTML file, except that would be an example.php file, whereas this is an actual HTML file that's where the entire contents are getting passed into Django, and then the templating engine is rendering the Django content as part of the HTML file. Now this is really nice if you're working with somebody who is specifically a front-end developer and they don't want to worry about any of this Django stuff. You can just give them this file and show them how to use these tags and what variables that need to be passed in, and they can simply use this and wrap HTML around it however they see fit. So if I had to create an h1 tag and I had to put this inside of the h1 tag, we should now just get the current user echoed out, which is really cool. So let me say hi, comma, current user. So this should say hi, comma, rich. So let's refresh this page. Fantastic, and now we have hi, comma, rich. And with that being said, if we wanted to now change this to something else, we could do that, and we could say test or whatever we wanted to here. Again, if we didn't match a regular expression, this would not work.